Hey everyone, this is Maureen Grodzinski of Dimensions of the Paranormal and Supernatural, I guess, because I have it wrong tonight. Anthony's having some problems, but we're here with, whoa, this is weird. We're here with Darius Wright and Devin Wright, father and son. Anthony, are you there?
Can you hear me?
No, but your audio is really off tonight. Lots of feedback.
Yes, the feedback will be coming from.
That's fine for me.
It's ouchy, Marco.
Technology could be a frustrating thing.
It can be, especially with several dimensions.
Yeah, it could be a little bit of a pain in the butt sometimes.
It can be. Anthony, you good?
I don't think he's getting the audio. His mic is working, but I don't think he's getting the audio.
Well, wait, his mic is muted too. What is happening? Hey, Venus. Hi, Marco. Ron. Oofy. I don't know what's happening.
I don't know either.
Well, Darius, you're muting and unmuting on your own, but
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, no, I do that all the time. Like when I'm not talking, I'll just mute out. So, yeah.
Anthony, are you good? So he's unmuted, but he can't hear us.
No, he can't.
It would have to be.
Hi, David.
If you're on your computer, go to the, depending on what he's on, the settings thing, and then go to the audio and then change the microphone input, the speaker output, and making sure that he has the echo cancellation on, because that's what's happening.
Okay, well, we'll get started and then he can come in. Hi, Twig. And I don't want to talk too loudly because I guess we're okay. It might just be on his side of things then.
Yeah,
You guys are looking good.
It sounds like it's coming from him.
All right, let's try to bring him back in then.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Okay,
I had
good.
no idea what happened. I was working fine.
Maybe it is the dimension thing.
I was testing this before. I came in at 6 o'clock. I got everything fine. Yeah. Go on and have the
I don't know. You even sound a little bit low.
I'm low?
Yeah. Do you guys think he's low?
Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. I think we're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Ron said you might have been better in the car though.
I think so.
David, if your friend Alfred MacArthur is a vampire, you should probably stake him in the heart. All right, so this is Darius Wright and Devin Wright. Devin's one of my best friends.
Yes, we are.
We are very close.
Yes, we are.
How you doing? Nice meeting you.
It's nice meeting you there too, Anthony.
So
Anthony's
Anthony's my partner in crime, my co-host. and other stuff and things. Oh, that's better with your light. I like it like that. So, Darius, I've never gotten a chance to talk to you, but I've heard lots and lots of great things about you.
Yeah, well, I've started doing things public lately as well. So
Your dad tells me wonderful things about you.
yeah, just sharing
So,
a whole bunch of stuff that I've been getting.
this should be interesting.
Yeah.
My dog unplugged my computer.
Sorry about
Okay,
the
so tonight.
difficulties you had tonight.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. So, do you guys want to talk about what you do and what you're about?
You can take the lead, Darius.
Yeah, so me, what the two things that I share is well, in particular to this is related to a lot of OBE stuff, so out of body experiences. And those are things that I have experienced since a few years now. We're going back since a kid, but then most importantly, they started to really amp up when I was in Morocco. That was back in 2013, where they sort of started happening uncontrollably into present date and all that stuff. And when I talk about out of body experiences, a lot of people like to meld that together with the new age stuff. It really has nothing to do with that. It's not astral or anything like that, because I spent years researching other people's stories of leaving the body. And when I actually left my body, to realize that it was actually nothing what people said it was. When you end up leaving your body, it is more real, it's more physical, more dense than your physical body. And that was the one thing that shocked the hell out of me, because one of the things that people fear the most of after death and stuff like that is like, you're just this light orb spinning in space. No, when you leave this realm entirely, you are physical, very dense, very physical, and it's all the pleasures of physicality with no limitations. And so when I talk about out of body, I'm experiencing those things. When I pop out of my body, I'm literally exiting my soul out of my body, and I can look at myself sleeping on the bed and have contact with beings. And that's where I'm getting most of, if not all of my information to present date now. It's just by that communication that I'm getting. I call it the other side. So
The beings you're talking about, are they alien? Are they spiritual, or what kind of beings?
So they, I've communicated with humanoid beings that look like they were gray aliens, humanoid that were, for instance, I remember seeing they had like gray skin, but they were humanoid, and they were 16 foot tall, standing right in my bed as I popped out. I remember seeing like these very skinny beings and stuff like that. Pixies, gnomes, beings that look like that have like animal features. I was also taken to the halls of Amenti, the cathedrals, halls of mirrors. And I had no idea when all these things were coming to me. I had no idea what these things were at the time. Like, the Akashic records and stuff like that, I had an idea of. But what I came to realize is that the Akashic records, the halls of mirrors, the halls of Amenti, they're all the halls of records of all the memories. They're just different sections based off different times that have happened within this realm. So this realm, we'll just say it's you call it we'll just say it's a bubble, right? So this realm is like a bubble, and within this bubble, you have multi-dimensional aspects within this one realm. So it goes on within this one realm. You could have 1,000 different dimensional spaces playing out, and you could access those dimensional spaces within this realm, which gives you access to different memories and things that you're actually doing within these spaces or outside of the realm and stuff like that. That you could access memories that return to you, like your name, your first memory before entering this place. Which that's also returned to me as well. The first memory I remember actually looking into this realm as like a puddle, and it's like when you're on the other side, it looks like a puddle that you could look down into, and when you look down into it, it gives you access to this realm that we're in now, and you could step into it. It's like water, essentially, like that, where then your memories bleed through this realm. That's why you have amnesia as well, is because your memories actually they actually bleed through the entire realm, this realm. So when you actually leave too, when you die, you're not getting all the experiences that you've experienced, but you're getting all the experiences from every single being that's here. That's why it's such an expansion of your soul when you leave here.
That's interesting. Uh, so can you see if after you pass, okay, do you when you go to these places, can you see like a previous life you might have lived or anything before that? You know, any
Ye-
previous lives or anything?
Yeah, so those you could get access to those, and everybody has access to it too. Like this is like this is a thing. Like as I share this, don't think that I'm a special person, because everybody has access to this. Not like one individual, but yeah, you could get access to the lives that you have lived, the memories and stuff like that are all there. Everything's recorded. Every little detail is recorded. There's actually no privacy here at all. When you die, when your soul leaves this vessel and you go over to the other side, you're going to be able to see not only your entire life, right, but you're also going to be able to see everybody else's and view it from their perspective. Well, everything's recorded. Every single aspect of it's recorded. And so you get it. When you exit your body and you go to these records, you could get the information of all those things and bring it within. And it's stuff that I continue all the time, continue to do, and continue to try to expand and access more things. But one of the thing is when you're doing these things, it's important to constantly take care of your body, because it ends up frying you out. I remember going a good week to 2 weeks of doing this nonstop, and it took me a month to recover because it fried out my body.
So you're talking about the Akashic records, Darius?
It's not necessarily the Akashic records is a small part of the records. So the Akashic records is this. The halls of Amenti is here.
Okay.
The cathedrals is here. Think about all these records as one big space. It's a multi-dimensional space, right? And depending on the certain timeline that has played out within this realm or multiple realms, you could access those through different records. So when people are accessing the Akashic records, they're accessing a small aspect of the records
But
within
just
the completion
themselves.
of all the records. Yeah.
Okay. So Ron wants to know what other records. So you said Halls of Amenti, and what was the other?
The only ones that I have accessed so far, I haven't actually accessed any of the Akashic record stuff. Not that I'm aware of. If I was there, I didn't know that I was there.
The one time with me.
I've seen
The
that.
one time with me, I gave you permission to check into the halls. I gave you the permission to go into the Akashic records to bring back a memory that I had forgotten.
Yeah, so I'm not sure, but I haven't went there and realized I was there. So I could have been there, like what my dad just said when he asked me to look at something, and then it's like I don't. But the places that I've been, multiple times I've been to the halls of Amenti, and the first time I was there, I had no idea what the halls of Amenti were. I thought it was like hell or something like that. And so as I'm there, as I pop out of my body, all right, I'm in sleep paralysis, pop out of my body, I look at my soul hands, my physical body. I end up going into my bathroom, and then I turn on the faucet, and the faucet starts bleeding red, like almost blood, but it wasn't blood. The next thing I know, I'm teleported to the 3 pyramids, right? In the middle pyramid, right? In the middle pyramid, down below is how you access the halls of Amenti. Now, I never known this, and when I woke up, I Google searched it to realize that exactly this is how it's located. And when you go down to the middle of the pyramid, there's 3 halls, the middle one being the longest and deepest hall, right? And you cannot access, like you could go there to these 3 the pyramids, stuff like that. You will not find the halls of Amenti because you can only enter it through your etheric body. All of the portals, all of these interdimensional portals that people talk about are actually here right now, but cannot be accessed with the physical body. You have to take the soul out of the body to access it because it's in another dimensional space.
So what's there?
There is, it's just another space within this realm. So you have, let's just say we're in realm 1, right? And within realm 1, you have multi-dimensional spaces within realm 1, which souls could come here and experience whatever it is that they want to experience. This is where you get the massive amount of libraries of the records within this particular realm. Now, when you exit completely out of all the realms, you're basically, there is no name, there is none of that. You are everything and nothing at the same time. You still have a sense of individuality because your spark is individual to you. But to have an experience like we're having here, this is where we enter into different realms. This is where from the outside, from the other side, we create realms to experience that which our soul most desires. There's no limitation placed on you on the other side, completely out of all the realms. There's no limitation placed on you whatsoever. When you create different realms, this is a collective realm that we're in. But when you create different realms, you create it with your essence, right? And when you close out that realm, you close it by returning your essence back into yourself, which then exits you out of all the realms that you've came to experience.
Because the Akashic records would be a scroll of what you are from the time that you became what you created when you went to the angelic council.
In that timeline, So the Halls of Amenti was a timeline that took place here, and it's still here, but it's a certain timeline that's taken place here, right? Experiences, souls, Egypt, all that stuff, right? All that ties in with the Halls of Amenti. So you get Anubis, you get all those things, those deities and stuff like that. That's all related to the Halls of Amenti. The cathedrals is like a Greek time. That's where you see the statues and stuff like that with the cathedrals and stuff like that. Like it's pretty much paradise on earth. That also goes into the Atlantis timeline and stuff like that. And the Akashic records is another experience within this realm that has taken place. And I don't know what time.
So the Halls of Amenti would be more like everything from all of the ancient societies going back to all civilizations.
I don't follow that question.
I think I know what you're asking. The Halls of Amenti is covering a time period of the dominion of like Egypt and that time period. Okay. Now, a couple of these records actually overlapped it. They overlapped. They were within the same space at the same time, collecting information because certain time periods were overlapping. Like in the Greek time period, there was, you also had the Luminarians and the Atlanteans. Okay. Right. So when you had the Halls of Amenti and the other records, they were overlapping. So they were keeping a conjoined aspect together of these two different experiences. Okay. And
so like the Akashic records would be your own record and scroll, and then the Halls of Amenti would be like the Atlanteans and all of the ancient records of societies.
Yes. They were the most highly advanced. Yeah. Highly advanced, more advanced than where we are today.
Well, we're not that advanced.
We're kind of slow.
I mean, we are the shallow gene pool.
But they were more advanced because they were accessing more of the aspects of what we're going to discuss pretty soon here. So a lot of that information got lost.
Right.
A lot of that history got lost, but the only way to retrieve it is go into the Halls of Amenti.
Okay. So then what is the other, you mentioned another one.
So the best way to, so we don't get stuck on, the best way to understand this is like I said, I don't have a direct experience with the Akashic records. I only have experience with the Halls of Amenti, the cathedrals. All right. Imagine this place as a big hallway with multiple doors to the left and right.
Okay.
All right. Door number 1 will give you access to the Halls of Amenti records. Door number 2 will give you access to the cathedral records. Door number 3 will give you access to the Akashic records. Right. That's the best way they're all in the same space, but they all have their different hallways based on different sequences of events that have taken place within this realm. So it's
So
not. It's
anybody,
yeah. Go ahead.
so so anybody like that could do this. How do you train yourself to actually do this? So the out of body experience, is there just naturally, or
Meditation.
is it just
Yeah.
meditation?
So for me, um, I've spoken to people that access this differently, but for me, um, like I said, I don't when I speak about it, people just don't really understand when I talk about the density over there. Like it is as real as this conversation here, but more real.
Hmm.
Like the physicality there is super real. They started happening to me a long time ago, but I didn't train to do it. They just happened out of nowhere. Like I would wake up in sleep paralysis and I would wake up paralyzed. So I feel like I'm not breathing any of that stuff. And I would I'd freak out and I'll wake myself up. But they would happen too many times, like one after another, sometimes daily. In one night, I decided not to freak out anymore, thinking that I'm dying, and I just relaxed my whole body. I was like, okay, I'm not dying. I've been here before. And as I relaxed more, I found myself getting the tingling all through my body, ringing through the ears, and eventually separating, exiting my body. The past 2 years, um, I've been trying to do it more consciously, a lot more consciously, where I could do it sort of. It's not all the time successful, but where I could do it sort of at will. Where if I decide tonight I'm popping out of my body, I will shut my body down and enter sleep paralysis, and I'll do it consciously. But it takes me about 3 to 4 hours. And this is why I said before, when I tried this for like a week straight, it burnt me out for about a month. And I've been practicing lately how to do them at trying to do it at will, because my theory is now the reason why it's not a theory. The reason why you have to shut down the body to this extent to lead for the soul to exit is because, let's just say your physical body has a magnetic field. Your brain wave is, when you're awake, it's very, very high. You're very active. So your soul is glued in. When you shut down your body, when you enter deep, deep sleep, delta wave, not only the brain wave is lower, but it's like that magnetic field that holds the soul into the body is no longer there because you shut the body down. So it's free to exit. Every single night you're leaving your body. People call them dreams and stuff like that, but you're not fully conscious there. There's still this veil of amnesia of bringing all the memories back of what you're doing every single night. So when I leave, I'm 100% fully conscious and aware there. So yeah, I mean, there's a way to do it, but it's pretty difficult. You just need to literally go put your body into deep, deep sleep. And a good thing to do is, like, basically imagine when you go to sleep tonight, you're allowing your body to go to sleep, but you're staying conscious the entire time as you go into deep sleep. It's very difficult because then you get the sensation, the itch, move. You need to ignore all those things.
See, as a paranormal investigator, I've been experiencing spirits and all this stuff. While you're out of your body, would I mistake maybe you to be one of the spirits, or maybe that's what the ghosts are nowadays? You know what I mean? These people out of body experiences wandering around, and everybody's mistaken for something else. You think that is possible?
Yeah, well, spirits and ghosts. I mean, if you go into that story, the spirits, the ghosts, stuff like that, it's what you're seeing is, you're seeing a seeping through of that other dimension within this realm, right?
Mm-hmm.
So over there, those spirits and ghosts that seem like mystical, floaty thing, they are solid as a rock on the other side, on that space, right? Not you get what I mean? They're physical. They are dense. They could touch each other. It's all the pleasures of physicality with no limitations over there, because what you want to experience there, you can do without a limitation.
Because we do talk about dimensions, different dimensions. Me and a bunch of other people that's in the field always talk about the different dimensions that spirits come through to this this dimension and go back and forth. And also we talk about maybe like other like cryptics, like Bigfoot and stuff like that, coming through these dimensions. We think it's like a slit in time that they come through. So what do you think? Is that possible, or
Yeah, well, you could definitely see, depending on the being, because I practice through the years of this happening. Like, for instance, over there is the door to go out to the side of the house. All right.
Mhm.
So sometimes I will practice opening up doors when I'm out of my body. The doors are locked, but sometimes when we wake up, the door is unlocked and slightly opened. So you
Mhm.
do have a sense, like I've been because I've also spent a lot of time trying to prove to myself that what I'm experiencing is wrong. Until I actually pop out of my body, I go over to a friend's house and I see exactly what they're doing, when they're doing it, what they're doing, without me never being able to know what they're doing. Wake up, give them a phone call, ask them, "Is this what you're doing?" And they confirm it with me that that's what they were doing. It's so you could interact with this realm here in real time, while at the same time getting access to a multidimensional space within this realm with all those different entities and creatures. All the fantasy beings, creatures, they all exist. Not here, just like the halls of Amente exist, but it's not in this physical space. It's in another dimension within this realm. Same with all those other beings. Like when you pop out and you see a creature standing by you or near you, if you don't have experience with it, it'll freak you out. It freaked me out. I ended up popping right back in my body, instantly waking up.
And
Yeah.
I'm going to add something to this, Anthony. If you're not of a certain time frame, like for the halls of Amente, if you weren't a part of that timeline, in order for you to access those records, you have to be invited.
Okay.
Okay? You have to be invited. If you're not invited, you'll never enter that doorway or that space. Okay? The Akashic records is your personal record of self, all of what you've done in every single lifetime of every single existence to the spark of you that's within there. Now, in those Akashic records, you can have permission by another soul entity to witness theirs. Okay?
Okay.
But who invites you?
Whoever it is,
That's tending to it?
the ones that are guarding those places. Every place they're guarded. Okay? They're protected. Because those are sacred, that's sacred knowledge and sacred history. And if you're not, the way I could describe it, if you're not at a consciousness or a vibrational level, you're never going to get access to those records. If you're not vibrating at the frequency that is allowable for you to go through those doors, you'll never have access.
There's usually like a guardian angel or guardian, or
I call them elemental beings because they're into these. The more of a vibrational vector you're at, the higher of a realm you're going to see. Okay, no different than, like, for instance, remember that blue and black dress that everybody was seeing on the internet?
that was
I
golden
saw
light.
white and gold. No, I saw white. It was blue and black, and it created this big craze, and everybody's going crazy over a stinking color of a dress. Come on, are you serious?
Yeah.
But it all dealt with consciousness. When you're vibrating at a certain consciousness or a vibrational specter,
You have to be at the same level.
certain colors will filter out of your line of sight and only permit certain colors to be seen. So those who saw the blue and black dress saw the right color, but those who saw the white and gold were vibrating at a different frequency that canceled out the blue. Okay, in a sense where they couldn't see the blue and black, all they saw, what was reflected back to them, was white and gold. Okay, so that right there, even they said it was, quote unquote, a thing that just happened. It was intentional.
Yeah.
My feeling was it was completely intentional for society to see that each and every one of us are vibrating consciously at different sectors, and each consciousness is going to see a different reality than the other consciousness while we're living in the same space, which takes us right to what we were going to discuss.
Wait, before we go there though, I want to back up a second and I want to ask Darius this question.
Okay.
Darius, what type of information do you bring back to the present that would benefit yourself or other people?
A lot of the information I bring back is personal to me. Some of the things I bring back are also the nature of this realm, what I've shared already.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of things that I access over there, and I have been told that are exactly the way that this place operates. Things that I saw that's been taking place in real time. But yeah, I've shared a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I mean, I have like 111 videos out there right now,
yeah,
on my site and stuff, where when I come out of this, you know, I have my camera set up, I just record it, or audio, whatever. But what would I, if I were to share something, one thing, it would be that all of these beings on the other side, they're no different from you. They're just operating in a different dimensional space, right?
Mm-hmm.
This realm that we're in now is one of the hardest realms to be in. So when you leave here, like I said before, it is all the pleasures of physicality with no limitations. You can manifest and create that what you want at will. There's nothing. The only limit that you have is the limit that you put on yourself. That's why when people leave, they'll experience also, you know, if they have a lot of fear, right, they'll experience a lot of fearful things to be fearful of. And I experienced that for years with the out of body stuff, experiencing things to be fearful of because I was in a fearful state. And it wasn't until I got rid of the fear of death, and also fear, because that's the core fear, is when I started to get access to all of the stuff that I've shared already, all of the records, all those things.
Do you guys think that this has any relationship with vibrationally with the Hindu or Vedic teachings, or do you not know if that does?
A lot of the teachings are distorted. That's the thing. Like a lot of these teaching, the new age stuff and things like that, tend to put people into a place of not being empowered. The thing is, there is no soul greater and grander than each individual soul. Your soul is so, and this is what I was shown when I was taken out of all the realms by being called Celeste. I've created a video on that as well, where your soul holds such a, where people say we're all the same. Yes, that's true, but that's very wrong at the same time. Right? Because we are so different. We are not like the other in a lot of different aspects, so much so that you would even argue that we're not even the same, right? Because your spark is so unique. No other soul has that spark, right? So all of these teachings and things like that, like the New Age, Hindu, all those things are distortions of teachings to put you in a place of being submissive and passive and not standing in your power and accessing that which you have access to if you command it and demand it to be so.
Mm-hmm. Somebody asked, why deny knowledge and why deny sacred knowledge that can end suffering? And I think that that's a really interesting question, because I don't think that it's denying knowledge. I think that you have to work up to the knowledge, and it's not that they're ending, well, it's not that they're trying to, it's not that it's going to end the suffering. It's going to help you to learn, so that if you come back around again, you're just working on yourself. Don't you believe that?
Everything, as far as knowledge is concerned, it's almost the equivalent of diet or what you desire to eat. Mm-hmm. Let me explain that. I'm going to use a child, for instance. A child that's just beginning to walk is going to try to run, but what happens? Falls right on its face, because it's not ready to take those great leaps as its brother who's 4 or 5, and they see his brother running down the hallway, and he's sitting trying to catch up, and he's trying to boom, 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 all the way down the hallway.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's not that the knowledge is being withheld. is when you're consciously ready to receive it and your body is ready to absorb it, then it's being released to you on that timely basis. No different than as if you're going to feed your 1-year-old its meal and your 5-year-old its meal. They're going to be slightly different because the 5-year-old now may be able to eat some steak, but that 1-year-old would choke on it.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So on that side, they can see exactly where your consciousness is. It's very clear. They can see it. They're like, oh, he's taking his steps for the first time. And yet that child's like, no, I want more, give me more. Too much of that's going to kill you. It's going to hurt you. Okay.
Yep.
You got to grow into it.
Yep. Ufi said, when the poet is ready, the poem will appear. It's an old Irish proverb. That's very true. And Anthony, Venus wants to know what you drinking, sugar.
Pellegrino.
Pellegrino.
Pellegrino, yeah. I got the Italian stuff. No,
Italian.
know what I'm saying?
Italian.
Yeah, I got to drink the Italian stuff now. No, that's what I drink
Italian.
all the time. That's my main water. So
So, now, split dimensions.
Yeah, that's where we were heading to. I know we were bringing that up, and I said that takes us right to why there's a split when I was talking about the dresses there.
Mwahaha.
The reality, the dimensions we're already living in a split dimension right now.
We are.
And a lot of people are starting to realize all of a sudden, and it happened very quickly. It happened at the same time the pandemic occurred. And if people didn't pay attention to it, there was a major split in every single person's life of certain realities. Families split apart, friends fell away, new friends came in, and those who decided to stay together and they were growing together in that vibration, they were living a totally different reality versus the others. And it seemed like all of a sudden there is two paradigms coexisting at the same time. You can see those who are living in peace and harmony are looking at the other paradigm and it's like, oh my God, they're just a mess. Why don't you just get rid of this and this? And we can see the steps of what they need to do in order to be in the peace and harmony we're in. But they haven't adjusted yet. Okay. Or grown to that consciousness yet of understanding that. You can easily see it within families, especially if you're living, some of us are living in a family where one's consciously vibrating here and the other one's vibrating here. Now, if you look at electricity, if you have a high energy coming in up here and a low energy mixing right there, guess what it creates? An arcing. And that's very destructive. And then people are wondering why the relationships are so destructive with each other. Okay. And those relationships eventually will cause a massive split. It will destroy everything within there. Okay. Now, you got a higher vibration and a lower vibration trying to meld, and it doesn't unless you put what is called a buffer there. And what we see in our basements is called a fuse box to take the high energy in order to filter out the high energy into the 110 energy we receive to turn on our lights instead of the 220. But when you don't have that filter there, you're going to have a devastating effect of emotionally. Some have experienced physical harm, etc.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
that's
I've been watching as I'm walking through the house, and it's almost like things start to vibrate and the dog looks different, or things kind of seem topsy-turvy. It's like Alice in Wonderland. And I've been saying that for a couple of weeks.
Everybody's seeing these things specifically to themselves. It's purposely seen for that person, for their specific self. each and every one of us is not experiencing the exact same thing as the other.
Mhm.
Based on where you're at and your consciously your vibrational field. Okay, the higher you vibrate, the difference of reality you're going to experience.
Do you guys feel like the higher you vibrate, the weirder you feel? Like, do you feel dizzy and like?
Well, that will happen. You're gonna get dizzy and all those things, and like a more of like a feeling weird and stuff when there's too much information coming in, and your body needs to take it all in. It's just taking a little bit. But it's like, even like I agree with my dad saying it right now as well. Is there's people living in two different realities right now, because if you take a look at the past 3 years, it's been one of fear and then one of not fear of it's total split of consciousness. And I was also, I forget the date of this. It was when I was out of my body at an OB, and I was in the halls of Amente, and I was in a round table, and one of the tables that they have there, it's a round table, and actually shows you this realm, like you can see it on the table, how everything's constructed. And there's about 100 beings there, and one of them actually said, the light workers, right? And I'm using quotations. What exactly they said? They said the light workers have reached a point where spending any more time in the space is going to do more harm than good to them, right? And that ties into what my dad's saying is the arcing effect. When you have a certain frequency that is of staying down here, it creates an arcing effect. And so since then, like I've noticed for myself personally, things getting more, the split, right, has been getting more visible than ever, right, between certain consciousness and stuff like that.
It's very pronounced.
Yeah.
Okay, it's become very pronounced. You're still mingling with the other reality. Like, for instance, we all have to go to the grocery store. We all have to get food. We all have to get in our cars.
Than others.
Okay, we have to go and get gas and whatever the necessities brings us out into the public eye. If you want to go for a stroll in the park or whatever, but you'll notice if someone approaches you, it's usually only the one who's within your same frequency. They come up to you and they're like, "Hey, how are you?" But everybody else is going about their business as if you don't exist, just like them looking at the blue and black dress, but they're seeing something else.
Yes.
So this is what, like I said before, it's like what with paranormal stuff and spiritual and everything. Sometimes when we go into locations, we see some people could see a spirit that's there, and others can't. So those people that like psychics and everything on different frequency than the people that can see that, because that's
the thing is that, like, oh, Dad, you're muted. Yeah, you have to unmute.
They're already at a consciousness level where they're able to see the other side. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So they're able to interact beyond that veil. They're getting the information from that side as if it's me and you are talking right now. Do you see where I'm getting at?
Okay.
And they're able to see those things. I didn't realize I was different. I was 4 years old, and I was seeing these things in my bedroom at 4 years old. Now, at 4 years old, it petrified me seeing this. So I'm a 4-year-old, and I'm screaming for my mother. And my mother comes in the room and she goes, "There's nothing in here." I said, "What do you mean there's nothing in here? It's right there. Can't you see it's right by you?" And she's sitting there like, "Bevan, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't see how you can see it." Okay. But as I got older, I started to realize, I'm like, no one else is seeing these things like I am. Why aren't they seeing these things?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it wasn't until my brother, my brother who passed away here in 2018, I was too afraid to express it to anybody else. And something told me I can tell my brother. And I started to talk to my brother, Bob, and I'm like, Bob, blah, 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 blah. He goes, you too? And then that just opened my door. I had a safe space to communicate this with my older sibling. And he's like, you too? I've been seeing that since I was blah, blah, blah. And we were around the same age, even though there's a 2-year difference from us. So I knew my brother and I were definitely different from the rest of our family because they weren't seeing these things. And me and my brother were talking in a spectrum of consciousness that baffled my parents because they were the very devout religious, go to church 5 days a week. You only got 2 days to yourself. So that's how we were always in church. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't stand looking at this Bible. So my father was sitting there. He was one of the ministers in the church. And he's sitting there on the stage, blah, 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 giving his sermon. And after the thing was over with, he's asking everybody, or what did you learn? And now, mind you, I am 5, almost 6 years of age. I go to my father and everybody's listening. I said, I said, Adam and Eve were perfect, right? He's like, yeah. I said, so why? And they were made to live forever. He's like, yeah. I said, so why is there a tree of life? If they're already living forever, why is God putting a tree of life there? And my father just sat there like, I said, if they had perfection and they had already knowledge, what's the sense of having a tree of knowledge? I said, Dad, it doesn't make sense. There's no sense to have a tree of knowledge unless they didn't have knowledge. There's no sense to have a tree of life if they didn't have life. They were going to live forever. How is that a temptation? Right. How is that a temptation to partake of any of those fruits? And my father's like, all right, baby, that's enough. You don't need to talk no more. He just shushed me up and pushed me around so no one else would question those things that he didn't have an answer for, you know? So my mind was already seeing the flaws within those things. I was already visualizing and seeing things at a very young age. And as I got older, it was even more profound. It became more profound of how different I was. So I was growing up in the age where talking about this stuff was extremely taboo.
Yeah, I went through the same thing.
I don't look my age. I'm probably closer to your age, Anthony. I'm just a lot of people don't realize that. They think I'm very young. You know, Darius is right here. My son, he's 28, and I have a 32-year-old also. Okay. But
damn, you look good.
Shut up.
Shut your mouth.
But I grew up in that kind of a consciousness level at a very young age and grew even beyond what I seen in these sectors. And I was sitting there when I decided to have children. I decided to teach my children based on a vibrational field, consciousness, taking full responsibility of self and not giving your energy to anyone else but self. And there's one person right there that you heard talking for at least the good half of the show already, who knows very much what he's talking about. Okay.
One of the smartest people I've ever heard.
And that's what he grew up. Him and his siblings grew up with that. I would teach them in story. And so when it was a bedtime story, I didn't pull out Alice in Wonderland or, you know, Huckleberry Finn or something like that. I told them stories about what the other dimensions were like. And I put it in story form. I eventually started writing a book about it, but I never put it out there. It was more personal to me. But I was giving them history, accurate history on the other realities that they grew up understanding at a very young age. he was Darius, I think, was the age of 5 when I started telling those stories at the time. And they were like, tell us more, Dad, tell us more, tell us more. And then my brother Bob will come up. He would hear me telling a story. My brother Bob would be like, Bevan, don't forget this. And he would add his story into it. He's like, remember this? This happened and such and such. I was like, yeah, Bob, tell him that, tell him that. So my brother Bob would go in and talking about the, the Great War of the Dragons and stuff, and, the Galactic Wars and so on. And the kids were like, then what really happened? What happened? Oh, we'll tell you tomorrow night. So the kids were like, oh my goodness, you're going to let us sleep like this? We're not going to know. And I'm like, yeah, we'll tell you the rest tomorrow night. So that's all they've grew up with. They grew up with all of this knowledge that we've already had. And they just took it and just expanded with it. Like Darius is very good with OBEs. My daughter, who is the oldest, she's extremely, she is so detailed in symbolisms of dreams. So if a dream occurs and people are like mystified, what does this mean? What is this? She'll sit there and she's like, well, she'll first say, how did you feel when you had the dream? And they would be like, well, I was afraid. Well, maybe you shouldn't have been afraid, because actually this symbol meant this and this and this and this. So when you take these symbols together, this is what's occurring in your life. So in order for you to get out of this, or in order for you to receive this, continue this effort.
Soleil is really good.
Okay. So that's Soleil. They all have their unique gifts. My gift is I go into a deep meditative state. And in that meditative state, I clear my mind of any preconceived ideas, thoughts. And I've learned to do this when I was I started at the age of 18 years of age. I started going into meditation. I've gotten to the point where I am in a slight meditative state 24 hours a day. But it's easy for me to dip into a deep meditative state at will. So when I get into that deep meditative state, I'm able to bring in information. Like Darius will call me up through his Telegram. Dad, did you get anything today? Dad, did you get anything today? And then I'll be like, all right, this is what's coming through. I got to decipher it, and I'm able to see certain things, what's occurring. And he's getting the same thing when he's getting in his OBEs. He's seeing what's occurring on the other side that I'm bringing in from when I do the meditation. And he's like, all right, that's right, because this and this and this is occurring. Did you see this? And I was like, yeah, I did see that. And
you guys don't even do that. Sometimes you'll call me and you'll say, did you see the sky today?
Yep.
Did you notice anything different? And we'll all see the same colors, and not everyone sees the same colors.
No, I did that. I did a test. There's a crystal shop that's about 2 miles down from where I live. And I was looking outside, and the sky it was a cloudy, overcast sky, but the clouds looked like they were the ocean, and it had some deep purples in it, and it was all these different colors.
The cornflower blue.
There was blue, but it actually had it looked like there was just waves going in the clouds, like it was the ocean. But it had
wavy blue colory.
Yeah. Well, I sat there and I went to the shop there, and there was a group of people in the shop, and I was like, look outside. What color do you see in the clouds? And they're like, it's gray overcast. And I'm like, wait a second. What? You're only seeing gray? And they're like, yeah. So I called up another person and I said, look outside your window. And it wasn't Maureen at the time. Maureen was the last person I called. I said, look outside. What do you see? They're like, oh my goodness. Why is it purple and blue in the sky? I was like, okay, you're seeing the same thing I am. All right. I said, so I hung up with that person and I called Maureen. I said, Maureen, what did you see outside? She goes, hold on a second. So I guess she went to her window or out her door. I don't know how she went, and she goes, the sky looks like a bluish purple wavy color. I was like, oh, thank God. because I thought I was losing my mind for a second. I'm like, where's these colors coming from in the sky? But I realized not everybody's going to see that, which confirms that we're already in that split realm.
Yeah, but then there was another day that we all looked out the window and everybody was just like, oh, it's just, it's like a normal day. And then you asked me and I said, there's like an orange and like this beautiful pink color and something else. And you said, good, because I called Darius and he said the same kind of things and I'm seeing the same thing and no one else saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of the colors as well, when I just call it the other side, right, for short, right? When you leave your body and you're on the other side, a lot of the colors there are colors that you really can't explain here. It's a blend of different colors that really don't happen here, and it's all those colors have always existed and have always been there. It's now they're seeping through because we are consciously raising our frequency, if that's what you want to say.
Yeah, because you can't describe certain colors on that side. Because I was trying to describe the color to Darius the one time. I was like, Darius, I can't describe it because it's very vivid. The colors have become more vivid to me personally.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but hold on, I want to say this as well, though. Like, a better way to look at raising your frequency is more of yourself is coming within this vessel instead, because it's not because it really isn't a thing of, I know people use the word ascension, but there's really no such thing as ascension, because you can't possibly ascend to something that you already are on the other side. You are bringing that within you more. So
it's more lateral.
Sure. Yeah. You could use it like if it's just a plane, like you view it that way. But it's more of it's like, this is the stuff that I was talking about before, of the disempowering yourself. Like, all these terminologies tend to disempower the individual, but it's not necessarily you're getting that which you've already are. It's coming into this vessel.
Yeah, it's coming into this reality we're in.
Yeah.
Ascension is just that. You're becoming more of you. Your true self is pouring into this vessel. Eventually, this vessel will not be able to contain all of that energy. It will morph into something else. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And when it does change into something else, this is the thing that people don't understand. That other aspect of you, the perfected version of you, is physical. It has physicality. It's all the pleasures of physicality with no limitations. So when you transform or when you die, right?
We say the word die, but we don't know what's going to happen because it's the first time it's ever happening within this spectrum.
Yeah, but I'm just using the word death because it's like, typically when someone dies, it's like, oh, they're completely physical on that other space and that other side. So it's like, would you even know that you've changed, really? Because I mean, when I was out of my body as well, I remember looking into the mirror and I was actually able to change my facial features. It was more of a perfected version of me. It was weird. And
you got more perfect than that.
No, but everybody holds a blueprint of their perfected version, right? Like everybody has that. Everybody does look. Everybody does look the same. Yeah, the same on the other side, but it's a perfected version of you, and you can change that as well if you wish to.
Well, that's what spirits do. I mean, when they come to us, they don't look like how they did when they passed. They look like what they want to be.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Anthony?
Exactly.
Like they.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They come to you and they maybe a younger self, or
when they were well, or when they were 3.
There's no limitation. There's no limitation in that realm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What you do right now, if you put your hand and try to put it through your desk or your wall, you're going to feel some pain. Over there, you can touch your desk or wall, or you can put your hand right through it, and you're not going to feel any pain.
Right.
Yeah. Like one of the first things that I do because it is so real. Like if someone were to take my body out of the bed and put it in like a truck, I would think, right, if things were dialed down just a bit, if I wasn't seeing entities and stuff like that, I would think, oh, I just woke up out of sleep, right? Because it's that real. But yeah, you could touch physical objects, like you could touch a door handle, you could put your hand through the door, you could open it, you could walk through it. One of the times when I was out of my body, I asked, which was the first time I asked to go somewhere, right? Because I was always contained in the space, and I asked to go somewhere. And as I opened up the door, there was a beach right on the bedroom door. Where then I walked into another dimensional space, right? Which then gave me access to, or a being came to me. It was a female, which was telling me the three different layers of this realm. So, yeah.
So in this
If
realm,
you-
are there other? There are other. Sorry, Anthony. I didn't.
No, okay.
Are there other steps to this realm or dimension, and then there are other dimensions? Is that what you're trying to?
Yeah, so what she was telling me is that there's three different like I'm just going to call them frequencies, like, you know, the source and then the middle and lower. So there are lower frequencies, middle and upper frequencies and stuff like that that could be experienced here,
Okay.
right? And some souls desire to completely exit the game entirely. But when they exit and they go back to what they call the Godhead or the God source or whatever like that, there's a desire to return back into some form of experience, because this is where we get, you know, information, growth of the soul, etc.
Okay.
So she was explaining those things to me when I was there.
Is that when could you bring somebody else to those dimensions, or just a personal thing? Or if you have two people, like your father and you, or either way, if you guys plan on a certain time to be in a certain realm, could you guys both be there at the same time?
Can I say something, Darius?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Darius went and did an OBE. This was an experience. And I had no idea Darius was going to do this. Okay. Darius did an OBE. And now there's 16-hour difference between our time frames right now. Right now, what time is it, Darius? There.
It's 12:35 p.m.
12:30, and it's Friday afternoon there. Okay, where he's at. It's 8:35 p.m. here at night.
Mhm.
So I had gone to bed, and Darius knows when I go to sleep. He knows my time frames. I had gone to bed, and I don't do OBEs. I've had it, the experience of it, but I don't do it like my son does. So that same night I went to bed, Darius went out of his body and met me on that side. And he's like, all right, Dad. All right. Do you give me permission to go into your Akashic record? And I said, yes. So he pulled out information from my Akashic record that I'd forgotten about. And then he brought it. When he went back into his body, he had all of that physical memory of it, because to him, he wasn't even asleep. I wake up the next morning. I get up at 5 a.m. faithfully every morning. Around 5:30, Darius gives me a call, 5:30 my morning, okay? He's like, Dad, do you remember anything in your dreams last night? I was like, yeah, you were there. He goes, yeah, I was. He goes, do you remember anything else? And I was like, yeah, we were on this boat. And he goes, yeah. And I say, well, I was talking to you about such and such. And he's like, exactly. He goes, you also told me to go into the Akashic records. He goes, there was a being that was attached to you at the age of 5, and his name is Roy. Now, Darius had no idea that this being was attached to me from the age of 5. I never told him about it.
Yeah, this goes into, like, you get access other people's stuff as well when you I call it the other side. Well, yeah, you could do these things. Yeah, it's all of it's accessible and available there.
So he was giving me information I had forgotten about, Okay. And he's like,
and stuff that I could not possibly know. And this has happened to me numerous times where it's like, you know, I'm visiting my next door neighbor. They're doing things at a certain time that I could possibly never know. Right. And then it's confirmed with me and stuff like this. Yeah, you can meet up with souls there. Because it's not a random thing. Just like here, you have Australia, you have America, you have China, you have these certain places. On the other side, it's the same thing. There's these certain places that you can meet up and go to, and they don't just change. Like they're, you know, if you were to leave your body one day, be like, cool, I want to go to the halls of Mente. I want to go to this place, that location that I've been there before. You could go exactly there, and you can meet up with somebody as well.
In those places, is there peace? It's like here, all chaos, like, you know, between countries and religions and.
well, on this side of the realm,
Is it peace of there?
on this side of the realm, the reason why there is so much chaos and peace, I mean, chaos, and then there's others that are experiencing peace. The reason why there's so much chaos because they haven't woken up yet to who they are.
Okay.
They have forgotten who they are. On the other side, you remember who you are. And you're in peace because on that side, it vibrates in the left vibration. Yes, you can communicate with whoever. There's some that you may not want to communicate with over there, and there's some that you want to. But everybody lives in that vibrational field.
Okay.
Okay?
So it's
They're in that vibrational
like here,
field
then.
of remembrance of who they are, that spark.
Mhm.
Some people call it God. I call it source. Some call it the isness, etc. You're in that spectrum and unified spectrum of knowing. Over
Okay.
here, yes, you have some who are awake, some who are asleep, some who are just taking the scales off for the very first time, and some who have been awake for a very long time.
Mhm.
And they see everything for what it is. And those who are sleeping, you know, you can see the ones that are sleeping just based on the actions.
Yeah, I'll tell you this as well, right? Your wealth on the other side is purely perceived by your experience and your love, right? The one of the experiences that I've had over there as well is that I held back a little bit of love here to certain things in someone as well, and when I was showing that, right, it brought me to my knees in absolute pain. It was something very minor too, right? The love that you withhold here is the pain that you'll carry on the other side. Tremendous pain, because even the emotions are heightened there as well. Because it's not only you remembering what you've done, you're remembering everything of who and what you really are. So this is what when people, and there's no such thing as a lie either. All truth is known over there. There's no lie. So like everything that you do here, that you are trying to be deceptive, it's all known over there. Everything is known. Everybody has access to the same thing. So, yeah, I mean, with that being said as well, I mean, there are souls, right? And there's souls that are younger, but not necessarily baby, right? It's like, I'm just going to call them baby souls also because people use that terminology, but it's not necessarily that. It's based off experience, right? So if one soul has experience of, I don't know, 1,000 years, that soul is going to be more seasoned in its understanding of things versus a soul that just had one lifetime. So there are what you would classify baby souls over there, or ignorant souls, even though they have access to everything. There's one thing between, because over there it's like you have access to all of the records of everything that has ever existed, right? So it's like reading a book. You could go there. It's like reading a book or watching in other words, it's like watching a movie that you could then jump into and see it three-dimensionally and stuff like that. But there's a difference between reading a book and actually experiencing something for yourself. And it's those souls that have actually experienced something firsthand that actually grow from it, other than someone that just reads it from a textbook. That's sort of how it works over there.
Mm-hmm. places.
But
So
yeah,
That's how wealth
that
is
goes
met.
back to the beginning of time. The records, they go back to the beginning of time of Earth, or of the
It's the
universe,
beginning of
or
everything.
of other
everything,
planets, or
everything. Yeah, yeah.
it
There was
starts as the universe starting out, or whatever it might started out with the explosion of a sun or something, or a star, and starting the universe and everything like that. So goes back to the beginning of time. So it starts the beginning of man, but it's not just this Earth. It's
Nope, it's not just
the
this
whole
earth.
universe. So it's
It's
the whole
everything.
universe.
yeah,
Or
it's
you know,
all of so it goes back to the very beginning of of the first experience, and it even goes back to the beginning of the creation of realms, right? Earth is not necessarily Earth. It's a realm. We are living in a realm with multidimensional spaces, right? And the same thing for all these other places that people call it Mars or whatever. It is a realm within a and it has multidimensional spaces. Each realm is created over there, and they actually look like pawns, right? When you view it from the other side, from the Godhead, there's actually you could view them like pawns, and they're like maps, right? And you get to enter
Mhm.
into each realm. Right now, we're in this realm, right? Which then gives you access to what we're experiencing here, but also the multidimensional aspect of this realm here as well.
So were there any dimensions that you would have liked to have stayed where it was just completely utopia?
Well, I mean, it's sort of that's all relative based on the soul as well, because my utopia is going to be different from somebody else's. I mean,
Right. I mean, like, was there ever a place that you have been that?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not only like I go somewhere. Like sometimes you could create your own place as well. That's what I'm saying. Like
Oh,
you
you
have the
can.
ability. Yeah, you have the ability to create your own places. People
Let's
call
do
them
that.
pocket realms and stuff like that. But I mean, my experience of bliss is totally different. Others' experience of bliss is like love and light and rainbows and stuff. Mine isn't that. I like different things, you know. But
Well,
that
I mean,
that's the
nothing but
thing.
love and light and
No.
rainbows and
Well,
rainbow.
that's the thing, right? It's like it's like with the new age stuff and stuff like that. It's like they cap the information access to all things as this love and light thing, and it's like, well, to put a soul into that limitation, that frequency of just love and light, is a massive limitation on the soul. So when you're over there, there's no
People get
limitation
sick of
placed
that,
on it.
right?
Exactly. So it's like even this, it's all about whatever it is that your soul chooses to experience is most pleasurable to you is going to be your blissful state. And there's many things that you get access over there and experience. I mean, yeah, there's the limitation is the one that you place on yourself. I mean, there are certain limitations based off if you're like this realm, right? There's limitations placed on you here. If you're accessing different realms or different places that have a preconceived construct, rules or whatever, yeah, it's going to be, you can't necessarily break those unless you create something for yourself.
And do you ever understand why people create their hell on the other side? They create their hell based off of what they feel they deserve in that experience. Because when they get their memories back, let's look at somebody who's been extremely abusive, hurtful, murderer, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
When they go to that other side, they not only see what they have done, but they experience it from the other person's perspective.
Right.
Okay. So the person they were harming, they're experiencing that pain that person was feeling. And it's being placed within them of what they've done in that experience. Okay. Now, that being has several things he could do with that experience. He can either sit back and say, okay, next time I go in, I'm going to do this differently. Or if I do this, I'm going to do this differently. Or he creates his hell there on the other side. He can't escape it. Okay? Unless he releases it from himself.
Yeah, because there's no such thing as someone judging you on the other side. You judge yourself. You're the judger of yourself. That's where the pain comes. So like people that think that, oh, when they leave or whatever, they're going to be, no one's, you literally judge yourself by looking at one, what you things, judging yourself could be good and bad as at the same time, depending. But it's also getting everything of the nature of reality all returns back to you. You're judging yourself on the other side. And that's where the pain comes from, because it's the realization of certain things, or certain things that you have done or didn't do, etc. And for some people, it's not necessarily pain. Like some people will leave, they'll be like, fuck yeah, I'm out of here, done.
So if we go back to a particular realm, we can change anything we want.
Realms that have closed out, no, you can't change a realm that has closed out. You could view it as if it's a movie. You could step into an experience that which is already, it's like if you want to experience something within a realm that's already closed out, you can't create new events within it. You could only step into it in forgetfulness and experience it that way, certain sequence of events. The only way that you could create infinite possibilities or whatever, if it's something that you're creating your own pocket realm or something like that for yourself, right?
Which brings us back to this realm. He said a key word, a realm that's closed out. There are certain realms that were closed. You can't reincarnate in again. You can go into a three-dimensional aspect of it, or what we would consider like a hologram. Okay, so
yeah, exactly. That's
you
a
can
better
go
way
into
to look
a
at it.
hologram aspect of it and look at it from that angle, but that realm is no longer accessible. It's been closed. That experience has reached its fullest potential, and they close that realm out and dismantle it.
And then that realm, hold on, and that realm, when it's closed out, then goes into the records of whatever records, where then people could access certain things that have taken place in that particular timeline.
And this realm right here is getting close to being a closed out realm. The experience has reached its fullest potential.
So can
So if you
people
leave this realm, one day you might not be able to come back then.
And what you're seeing right now, what's happening right now, and this, I've been, like, I was talking to Marines several weeks ago. Have you noticed a massive amount of death throughout the United States and the world? And I'm not talking about during just with the COVID event, okay? I'm talking about right now. Have you noticed? Look at your current obituaries. You're going to notice that it is astronomical than what it should be.
Yes.
Okay. There is that's the first sign of a realm closing out. There is going to be a mass exodus. There is going to be only a slight ticker of those who were already in line for incarnation coming through. Those entities that were creating harm in this realm, whether they were poltergeists, demons, whatever you want to classify the name of them as, have already been taken off world, out of this realm.
Charles and Oscar both said, yes, we have reached the final version of this realm.
Yep. So they have already, all of those entities that were creating harm in this realm have already been taken away. All of the beings, human beings or beings that are here, if they're still creating harm, those are the ones, not all of them. Some have chosen to leave, but you have some that are still creating harm. They are being forced out also. Okay. Those who are in that canon of still in that incarnation, those last remaining souls that are already in line for the incarnation, those are the only ones that are allowed in right now. So let's say, for instance, Anthony, you died right now and you're like, no, I want to go back. You're not going to be allowed back in. It's considered.
No, you're not going to be able to return. If you were to die right now, you're not going to be able to return back into this place. It's
already closed on that other side.
The positive ones are left behind, and the ones that are negative are just having their last dance.
You know, and it's even like I know a lot of you are doing ghost hunting and stuff like that. You're seeing certain ones that are still here, but a lot of the negative ones, unless they have changed, are not going to be visible. They're being pulled out. They're being pulled out.
Anthony, have you seen less negative entities?
what
You've been
I've
doing a lot of
seen,
this.
no, I mean, it's depending where I go. I mean, if I do an old penitentiary, abandoned penitentiary, or um, asylum, where they had all negativity. I mean, I just did a couple. Just recently, I did the Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, and you walk in areas, you could feel the negativity and things attacking you and stuff. I was choked on one of the things from one of the spirits there, and there's still a lot of negative that I've been seeing. It's depending where I am too. It's if it's a lot of activity in these locations that for years, hundreds and hundreds of years, there's still I'm coming still across them, so
Well,
I
as I
haven't
said,
seen the
this
difference
year
on
was
that
this,
yet.
as I said, this is the year that started that event of them pulling all of those things out. This was the year that everything was. I saw this. I didn't know the year. I saw this in 2010. I was shown what was happening in 2010, and now I wasn't shown the year. I had no idea what year it was going to be, but now I'm seeing it now because I was told this is the beginning. This is the beginning. We are
That's
pulling.
interesting. I'm sorry, because you keep on saying. I know you guys know something about the number 13 that we're supposed to be talking about too, but you said 2010. Now it's 13 years later.
Yep.
So
The
is
number
that something
13.
to do with that, maybe? You know what I mean?
Number 13. You actually, each and every single one of us, have 12-strand DNA. There's 2 that are actually what they consider the ones that's viable, and they call the other 10 junk DNA. There's nothing junk in our DNA. You have to be at a certain frequency in order to activate the other 10. But within those 12, inside the center of those circular DNA strands, you have what is called a ghost strand, which is 13.
Yep.
Okay? If you look at the Council of 12, people have heard of the Council of 12, but the one who took center stage was the 13th council member. If you look at, let's even go to the Bible. Jesus had his 12 apostles. He made 13.
Mm-hmm.
You had the 12 tribes of Israel, and you had the tribe of Joseph. Everybody left Joseph out, his tribe. He was 13.
Right.
365 days out of the year, divide that by 4, you got 13 months.
13 is very taboo.
All
There's
right.
no reason for it to be.
The number 13 is actually a karmic release debt number, meaning that you have now cleared off all debt and you can prosper to your fullest potential. It also is a number of it. What's the word I'm looking for? It's the number given to ascended masters.
Mm-hmm. And the church hides the number.
Okay. 13 is a very sacred number. Okay.
Hey, 13 is my favorite number.
It's mine too.
No, 13. My son's born on February 13th. My father's June 13th. I'm August 13th. 13 is a big number in my family.
Yeah, there was actually the original calendar had 13 months. The original zodiac had 13
signs.
13 signs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
And there are 13 floors, but they just got rid of them. They just cover it up. Can't just delete a 13th floor.
Yeah.
No, you can't delete it. You can't.
You just make it from 12 to 14, and they just put another number over it.
Yep. So that's number 13 is a very sacred number. It's also given to those who look at angels and God. The number 13 resonates with the seraphim angels. They're above. They're the closest thing to
They're
source.
the closest thing to God, yeah.
they resonate with the seraphim, which is in direct connection with source.
They serve him.
Yes, they surround him. Okay. So the number 13 is a very powerful energy.
So why get rid of it?
That's exactly what Darius was saying. They want you to give away your power instead of taking your power within.
And that's the funny thing, because witches
Yeah,
always
exactly.
say, I call back all my power to me.
And that's
It goes back to, they started doing that with the Templars, the Knights of Templar. They were big with the number 13.
Mhm.
And when the French king came in and started eliminating them, he made them sound like they're some kind of devil worshippers instead of somebody that's serving, the church. So that had a lot to do. I mean, I know they tortured them on the 13th of a month and everything. So they try to make it sound like it's bad demon, it's bad luck, and
no 13 has nothing to
Well,
do.
this is where we'll go in a totally different direction. Is that there's also no such thing as a good or bad thing. It's just an experience, because also when you are totally out of the all the realms entirely, you can't really label something as good or bad, because it's literally just an experience, right? Because how could you know what the other is if it has not been experienced before? I mean, and that's a harder thing for people to understand, is and fully wrap their heads around, is because we have a lot of evil here and things like that, and yada yada yada. And has this been agreed upon? Yes and no. There's such a, this place has gotten so far where now it's so distorted. This is where a lot of things are distorted now, where I don't believe anymore that people are experiencing anything that they've come here to experience. But this was the realm, one of the hardest realms, which then gave you the opportunity to experience the extremes, right? So
let me expand on that.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as right, wrong, good
or bad.
That doesn't exist. That is a human term that is created by humans. There is no such thing as right, wrong, good, bad. Now, I'm going to say something. I don't know how many listeners are listening in, but I'm going to ask a question. Have any of you eaten a knippa? Have you, Anthony? Have you eaten a knippa, Anthony? Have you,
Maureen? I don't know what it is.
I don't even know what a knippa is.
Let's just use liver. Let's just use beef liver.
I don't know.
All right. Let me. This is going to make my point. Darius, have you eaten a knippa?
No.
All right. A knippa is a fruit that's about this big. Okay, can you see? It's about that big, and it comes in a hard shell. It's mainly grown in the tropical islands. So you have to crack open this fruit, and you have to open it up and suck on the pit to get the fruit out of it. I'm going to describe what a knippa tastes like to me. It has the cross between a peach and a banana. Now that I described it, Anthony, Marina, Darius, do you know what a knippa tastes like?
No, because it's going to taste different to you.
Exactly. It's not your experience. Until you've experienced it, you'll have no idea what that tastes like. Like, for instance, Anthony, would you go and rape a child?
Of course not.
Why?
Because to me, it's wrong.
It feels disgusting, doesn't it? It feels disgusting, doesn't it? Now, this is where I'm going to show you where you've had a previous lifetime. In order for it to feel bad for you, then you've had to have experienced in some other lifetime. Just like eating that knippa.
Or have gained access to that experience through another soul, through what they have done through the records as well.
Yep. Somebody could have raped you as a child, or vice versa. That's how you going to know if something is good for you and bad for you unless you experienced it.
Well,
How do you
I mean,
know it's
that's the
bad?
way you brought up,
Like,
you
for
know.
instance,
Well,
know,
Dad,
what kind of
to make
person
it,
or law.
yeah, to make it more, also more understandable for some people, it's not necessarily that you, Anthony, has experienced that in another life, but it's when you incarnate in this place, this everything that there is to experience here has already been experienced by some soul through the records of this entire realm.
Yep.
Right. So that's the good, that's the bad. Now, when you leave here, right, you get access to all of those memories as well through the records as well. So all of those bad things, right, if you have not directly experienced it, you have access to those memories if it was done within this realm. So then you know what that feels like, even if you yourself have not done it yourself. All those memories return into the soul. This is why when you leave this place, it adds to your soul in a way that even me going to the other side, accessing these things, I know that it adds to your soul in such a way that I cannot, is amazing, but I still can't fully comprehend, because when you leave completely the realm, right, you are getting it all, not just your stuff, but everything from every single soul, their
And
perspective, vice versa.
And that's the reason why this realm is closed out, because every kind of experience that could have been experienced has been fulfilled. There's no more experience you can gain in this.
We're just repeating. We're just repeating the same old stuff in a different thing,
So it's like a reincarnation. Yeah. You come back, but you come back with some of the knowledge, but you're growing up again. So you don't have the knowledge, but it's embedded in back of your mind somewhere. Because we use 4 or 5% of our brain, 2010, I don't know, but still.
Yeah, but
don't use the
Anthony,
so
Anthony, this is a thing, right? Like, you're not necessarily getting looped in here, right? Right now you're here, right? It's when you are done here, that is it. You're done, right? The doors are closed for you when you leave, right? Because your soul imprint, your memories, everything has bled through here. You get access to everything from this realm when you leave. There would be no need for you to return, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, I'm a paranormal investigator, so we come across things. So, those people, those spirits, whatever I'm experiencing, do they slide back through, or they're just locked here?
Are you getting some residual energy spectrums, or are you dealing with specific ghosts?
Both, probably.
Well, when we go on investigations, we do get, because we have equipment that you can hear voices, and we could actually measure the electric, the EMFs, the magnetic fields from a spirit that they're manifesting, the temperature going up and down. We have all this equipment now that we could actually just record it, just to hear a voice come back when there's nobody there. So when we experience something, it's something that's still there. And some of it's intelligent, because when we give a question, we get intelligent answer back on a recorder or on a radio or something that we might be using. I'm talking about intelligent, like
you're talking like a voice box.
Voice box, and there's other things that we have now that we get more into, and because everything's getting computerized and everything else, so it's becoming more advanced that we're getting voices back. But when we ask a question and we get an answer back, or if I'm in a location and I'm videotaping something, and all something moves automatically, and I go over to this thing and see what made it move, and I can't figure out how to make it move.
I drew this down to try to, because sometimes words isn't enough, like visualizing it. All right, so let's say this is round one. This is where we are, right? So when you die, our souls die, and you're getting the spirits and stuff like that, they would be in another dimension, like, another dimensional space within this realm. So that it's typically called the waiting room, right? So these beings that exit this realm go into a waiting room or whatever, white room people call them. It's that transitional space or whatever. Or some people just stay there because they're still watching what's taking place within the realm 1. Now, when I say when you exit the realm, I'm talking about you're outside of this construct altogether, right? So this realm, the astral spirit realm, is still inside realm 1. You see what I mean? It's all within this realm 1. When you exit the realm entirely, you are out. There is no entering back in. See what I mean? Unless you exit just in another dimensional space within realm 1, which then you're accessing the spirits and all those things, because one, they're either stuck there because they are, waiting to see the completion of this realm, right? Before they completely exit, because people know when they're on this other side, when they do completely exit the realm, there's no returning back into it. And this is where you also can get the reincarnate, people come in, they incarnate, all that stuff.
But
Does that make more sense?
It's still like when we go on investigations, my friend Ronald Lourdes, they use white noise and they ask questions, and then white noise has no transmission going back and forth. It has no microphone or something coming in, but they get answers, voices. They're running through a computer and they're getting voices, and it's very hard to for us as investigators to say, why are they here? We don't know why they're here and why we're getting direct answers, and that's what if they're sliding through dimensions or whatever, because sometimes that's what we think, might be going through a dimension or something, so that's we're getting really good evidence that things are here still.
Yeah. Well, I think the message is getting because we were just talking about the exit of the completion and stuff like that, and when it's completed, you can't enter in a realm that has completed. It's like you can't create a new event and stuff like that. But the other side and stuff like that, the OBEs, the spirits and things that you're contacting, is just a dimensional space within this realm, like I explained before. And all those things are here. Yes, everything's here, right? But when this realm completes and it's closes out, there's no re-entering it.
So can they get stuck for a long time?
I wouldn't necessarily say stuck. I mean, I don't necessarily have direct experience with this, and unless I experience it from that space when I'm out of my body, then I can't give you a certain answer to that. But what I know, based off what I've experienced, no, it's not necessarily stuck. It's just a different space within this realm that we're in, right? So think about, think about the drawing that I just wrote, right? Realm 1 and the multi-dimensional spaces within this realm, right? So when people are when I exit my body, I'm still in this realm. I'm still in the construct of this whole game, right? If I completely exit, completely out of the game entirely, right? That's when you don't return back into it. It's called the point of no return, right? And there's been many times where I've seen the point of no return in out of body experiences. They've been presented to me as portals, things like that, where it's a point of no return, where if you leave that, it's the complete, you're leaving it all.
So that means you're stuck here and then you can't go back at all. So it's a point of no return. That's what you mean?
Not necessarily that you're stuck, right? This is why I said that the message is getting like this, because we're talking about one thing in the beginning.
I'm just trying to understand, because the stuff I experience, I just want to make sure. I'm saying things right too.
The point of no return means totally leaving this realm completely.
Yeah.
Out of this realm completely.
Yeah. Because we're talking about also the closure of this realm, right? And to understand the closure of this realm, when this realm closes, right, just like any other realm, the essence gets pulled out of it. This is why there's a mass exodus.
And there will be no ghosts within the realm either. They will be pulled out also.
Everything is done, right? When this realm closes out completely, right, with all the souls pulling their essence out of it, there will be no new events created here On the other side, completely outside of it, you will be able to view it as a sequence of events leading up to the final completion, but you won't be able to re-enter a realm that's closed out. You can just watch it. Like you cannot re-enter it or create a new sequence of events. That's sort of what I'm explaining. Does that make sense?
Is there new realms created all the time? Like a new realm is created as one closes? Is there something else that happens?
There is
or just
multiple.
realms
Yeah,
are-
there has been several new realms already created.
Okay.
There's been several new realms already created for a new kind of experience.
Yeah, when people talk about New Earth and things like that, and like that's already there, right? That new space is already there, right? Beings that are dying right now that are exiting, right, this realm completely are going to that new space, right? And they're waiting for other people to join them, right? When this closes out, when every realm closes out, you cannot enter back into it and create a new event. You could only enter into and experience that which has already been experienced within the realm to its completion date.
So what we're also trying to tell you, the 3D experience has been fulfilled to its completion. So everybody says we're actually in 3D. We're actually not 3D. We're 4D. We live within time. Okay? Everything we do is within time. We're not three-dimensional beings. We're in the fourth dimension. Okay? We govern all of our existence in the time dimension. So this 3-4D time frame is now completed. It's done.
Okay, so there's two points to this. So I went to a home and I had seen and heard several spirits from the 1700s. So I don't know how that's possible. And Lourdes is also saying, my grandmother passed in 1988 and she came to me last year and I can't believe with my heart that she is still in the waiting room.
She's still within this realm. There are some.
How is that possible?
There's still, when you turn it, you have a choice to completely exit out of this realm. That means within this construct, or you can still stay within this realm until it's completely finalized.
Yeah, this is where you get souls that are like so when dead relatives and stuff like that in the waiting room, where basically, they haven't fully made that complete transition to the other side of the point of no return because they've been waiting for loved ones and stuff like that. Now to get some souls choose to also leave and completely exit, and they're completely exiting is not like this bad thing. Nothing bad happens to them. They're partying over on the other side, etc. But there's when you're also accessing stuff from like the 60s or 70s and stuff like that. Like I said before, the records of everything's like you're accessing the records of things that have already taken place, right?
So how would they still be all right, this is what I'm confused about. So if you help me out. So if they're still in like the waiting room or in this dimension or realm or whatever you're calling it.
The word waiting room is just used as a terminology.
Okay, and I get that. But
it's not a literal aspect.
Why would they still be there? Is it that they don't want to move on? Is it that they can't move on? Is it
some souls are watching this as a movie on the other side, because what has taken place here, yes, it has not taken place in the way, it has not happened in the way that it's happening now. It has never happened before. So a lot of souls, when they leave prematurely, etc., right? Some of them are watching this because they want to see the completion of this, right? Because like I said before, when you leave here, you're not just adding to you by your experience of this lifetime, but you're getting everybody's experience into your soul when you leave. So some souls, as this is completing, are choosing to stay and wait to watch it, right? To still be in
because
it,
they
but
love
also
people. It's the memories. It's the
it's all of it.
Love.
Yeah. Because souls that choose to completely exit this realm entirely outside of the whole construct, you're not going to get all that, right? That's why the souls that are already out and have not chose to come in, right? When you leave, they're going to be looking at you in awe because of how much you've changed, because they haven't went through that experience. You see what I'm saying? Some souls don't want to leave. When I was offered to leave by being called Celeste, I was given the opportunity to completely leave altogether. But what she showed me was taking place. My soul wanted to come back. Even though I hated it here, my soul wanted to come back because I knew what was going to take place here, one, has never taken place before and will never happen again. Okay. And how that adds to me as a soul. So these souls that are already leaving this space, the physical 3D dimensional space, and they're in the waiting room or whatever you want to call it, they're there because they don't want to completely exit so they could still have the completion, the final completion of all this, which is all the memories, everything, etc., that I've already explained. Does that make sense? Because it makes sense to me, but it may not make sense to people.
Yeah. Because I've always explained it to people who I've done readings for that, you know, they want to be there. They also want to be here. They want to be spending time with us because that's what they loved. But even they make the decision to kind of like off board.
Yeah, but even when you're completely out of the construct, you could still watch this take place. It's not necessarily, but when you're inside of it, what's the best way to explain this? That's like, when you're inside of the construct, I want you to think about the construct being water all around it, right? And your soul is just bathing in this water, right? So everything that takes place here, it's flooding into your soul. All the memories, everything flooding into your soul. But if you're outside of that completely, you're not bathing in it. So you're not getting all of the memories, all the experiences, etc. You can still watch it completely outside of the entire construct. But you're not necessarily your soul is not necessarily going to gain all of the experience as if you're inside of it.
It'd be just like watching somebody eat the knippa versus you eating it yourself in that experience and being able to absorb it through all that experience.
Okay. So Lourdes wants to know, so what happens when you leave this realm and go to the next? What's the goal or meaning of the next realm? Like, what's end game?
There's never an end game.
Yeah,
There's never an end game. There's always growth.
But there's reincarnation. So you're learning your next lesson.
So the reincarnation within this place, yes, but that's not necessarily how. All right, that's the best way to explain this. Think about this realm as a game, right? And in this game, it's one of the hardest games in the universe has created, right? And let's just say the universe is outside of the construct. It's the all things, right? Mm-hmm. And so typically in experiences in different realms, when you go into different realms and experience games, you don't lose your memory of who and what you really are. You just go there to experience something or whatever. This experience in particular, this realm, right? It's the place where you forget it all, right? It's that amnesia, you forget who and what you really are, the access, all these things.
Yeah.
Right? Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
All right. Within this realm, within this game, right? It's like all the perceived rules and things like reincarnation and all those things, it doesn't exist outside of this realm because there is no such thing as death on the other side of the other realms. You see what I mean? You could enter, all right, when you're outside of the realm, my soul body, let's just say my soul body, infinite essence, right? And I'm standing there, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm outside of this earth realm, right? Now, let me walk down here. Oh, cool. I see all these different realms. All right, I'm going to take my soul and jump right into this. You jump in there, not forgetting who you are. You remember it all, exactly where you came from. And when you choose, oh, I'm done with this, you just exit out and fully aware, fully conscious. There is no reincarnation loop or any of that stuff outside of here. That is only within this preconceived construct game that we're in right now.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm still.
I'm trying. I'm trying to
Oh,
break.
I know you. I know you are, and I'm trying my best to understand and stuff. I'm not. I'm just trying to.
All right.
Because
So
this is
so
all new to me. This is.
so in other words, forgetting, the amnesia, the reincarnation, all those things only exist within this realm. It doesn't exist on the other in the other spaces, right? You are in
Okay.
full knowing, full power, right? On the other side when you want to enter into other things. It's not necessarily, okay, I'm going to enter this and I'm going to reincarnate in another realm. No,
So you're
that's
saying that
that.
one realm?
Like for those who've had their awakening, for instance, people
Yeah.
started getting their awakening. Like, I know there's something different about me. And they're in complete amnesia. They don't remember who they really were. And then all of a sudden, certain things start seeping into them slowly through periods of time as they're growing here. That's what Darius is talking about. When you incarnate here, you're stripped of all that previous memory of who you really are. In the other realms, it's not like that. You're not stripped of anything. You have consciousness of memory of everything you've ever done. Okay? This realm was the hardest realm to go through, the hardest experience to go through, because you forgot who thyself was. You came in complete forgetfulness of who you truly are and what you've actually already gained in experience. This is where some people can lose themselves in this experience.
So outside this dimension or realm, is there anything else, or do you get reincarnated and come back to?
No. Yes, when you're outside of this realm entirely, it is infinite essence always. Like there's no end to it, right? And there is no more.
Just keep looping?
No, there is no
reincarnation. Is only an event that happens here.
Yes, exactly.
It's
it only
an event that happens
here, not in the when you go over to the other side, right? And
right.
I'm just going to use me leaving my body as an example, right? When I leave my body and I'm in my soul body, it's all the pleasures of physicality with no limitations. That's meaning 0 limitations, right? When I'm outside, right? If I want to choose to reincarnate because I'm all powerful, then I could do that. But that's a choice that I'm making, right? But it doesn't really exist. You don't need to experience that unless you choose to, right? The reincarnation, all those games and rules only exist within this particular realm. All realms are different based off the experience that you want to experience, right? But there's no limitation placed on you on the other side, right? So it's not necessarily when you die, this isn't the only realm that you could play in. It's one, and it's one that's closing out. With that is also closing out the reincarnation, all those different things.
So you have, when you die, you have a choice if you want to go to the realm or stay here.
I was given a choice.
Stay here, you get reincarnated. So
yeah, I was given a choice, but I'm not necessarily sure if everybody is given that choice. Because then I'm just speaking off my experience, but I don't know because some people may not even be given a choice. It's like, okay, well, you're done. There's no returning, whatever, etc. But I've been given so many choices to leave in these out of body states. I can't really say that everybody is, when they do exit, if they're given a choice, if they, whether if they stay or go. I feel that some people may just be, all right, you've done, you finished, let's go. But yeah, all those things, all those rules, all those reincarnation, that's only within this place.
That's only on this realm.
It's only in this place right here. Yeah. When you're over on the other side, you remember it all and you don't forget, especially when you want to experience new things. You don't forget who you are unless you choose to, because there's no limitation placed on you. So you could choose that if you wish, but you don't have to. I don't know why you would, unless that's
if you go to the other realm and you're sick here, or injuries, whatever, or do you go and you're healthy in the other realm, or is it just, all the sickness and everything that's bothering you here, ailments or whatever? When you go over there,
All
you're just a healthy state and just physically, and you want to be young like me. I want to be younger. It's like
Don't we all?
yeah,
do
no.
you
So
feel
so like I said
as
before, on the
yourself or
other side,
something, you want to be?
yeah, on the other side, you could change the way you look, right? It's all the pleasures of physicality with no limitations, right? You could be
Hmm.
whatever it is that you want. All the disease, the disease and illnesses and all those things are all. It's only here because it's the distortion. This is the round one, the game of experiencing the extremes, right? Of
Hmm.
bad and good. So with that, you get a big distortion of things that don't really exist on the other side. That's like sickness and all those things. You don't experience sickness and all those things over there, right? Your body, the body that you will operate in over there, will be the perfected version of that which you choose
All right.
to
So when
look
I
like.
go over there, I could be 6'2", built, and good looking.
Absolutely, yeah.
Let's
I'm
go.
gonna be 5'7".
I'm, I'm buying a ticket right now. Let's go. I want to look 6'2", built, and good looking. Your first time ever. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's yeah. But I
That's
mean,
why I mean you've already answered that question in the beginning of this, where it's like, some souls will come to you, and like the people that have passed on or whatever, like the stories and stuff like that, people that have passed on, and they're like, when they near death experience stories, they're like, wow, they're so beautiful, they're like perfected. Because that soul on the other side could change to its perfected version of whatever that is for them.
when people die here, they always say, and the people that had near life experiences or they died, and they always say they have that light that they walk to with all these beings or something that they're headed to. Is that similar to what you're talking about? You see a light and you go to another realm.
I haven't seen the light. I know that's a story that a lot of people talk about, but I personally haven't seen that.
What did you see, Darius?
Yeah, because I had a couple of friends. I know about 2 or 3 people that had near life experiences, and then they said they see their body as they get lifted out of their,
Yeah.
and then they head towards this light, and then of course, then all of a sudden it gets small, and they head back. And I heard 3 different people tell me that, but they were like people that didn't know each other, different walks of life and everything. So I was like, that's why I'm curious if you see a light or something, because each one of them told me they see a light and they go towards it, and there's family members waiting there, or you know, that's just why I'm
I
curious.
think that's I mean I haven't experienced light, but I could see how that's a collective thing, because it's also comforting as well, right? Because I experience the same things of what people call near death, where I could look at my body and all those things,
Mhm.
right? But
Yeah,
the
yeah.
thing is, if it was my first time having an out of body and there was no returning back into it, I would go, right, based off experience of sleep paralysis popping out, I would be in absolute fear and panic, right? So I think
Mhm.
this is more of like, the light stuff, and also the people, it's more of a comforting thing, so you don't put the soul into absolute fear and panic, right? I've had years of doing this where it's like I don't have that fear. So it's like, okay, when I'm out,
Mhm.
I don't need that gentle ooze. It's a bam, okay, where do you want to go? And then that's what I've explained already, where accessing certain
Yeah.
things and things like that with the information that I'm sharing.
So
And you
will
feel
you
like a
try
peace
and
and lightness. I know they did experience. They tell me they felt like a peaceful and warming place. Is that similar to the other
Yeah,
dimension stuff?
I mean, when I was with Celeste, right? It was the experience that I had wasn't necessarily light. It was the best way. It was space, and she was showing me all these different bubbles, like they just look like bubbles, all these different bubbles. Now, knowing what I know now, she was showing me the different realms, right? Different realms, all that stuff. And it was absolute bliss there for me. I did not want to leave. She was sharing, Celeste was telling me everything. She was telling me the beginning, She was telling me my real name. She was telling me how everything started, sharing everything with me, and it was absolute blissful for me. It was like it was a blissful feeling that just never stopped. It kept on getting more and more and more and more. And then she told me, "Do you want to go back?" I said, "No, fuck that. I want to stay here." And then she showed me where this place was going to be, or what was going to happen to this place. All right. And I said, "No, I want to go back, because if this is never," because she was explaining to me that this never happens again. I said, "If this is never going to happen again, then I want to be there, because if I return," because everybody returns back. I said, "If this is where I return, this is the infinite version of me. This is where I am forever. I'm going to go back, because if that's never happening again," because I knew that this place adds to your soul by so much. It's almost like it adds to your soul more than 50% of all your soul experiences. And she said, "Okay, if you choose to go back, you're going to forget everything I told you." Now, I remember things, but I don't remember the minute detail. Those things are coming back to me with the out-of-body experiences, where I'm getting more and more and more information. But I would say I'm getting more and more and more information because of where we're at in this realm right now.
When I had my, well, I actually died on the table when they were doing a biopsy for me. The anesthesia stopped my heart. I just felt like I was wrapped in, like I felt like I had a black curtain dropped over me, and I heard the flat line, and I heard everyone running around and talking loudly, and then they started to kind of fade away. I didn't see any light at all. It just felt like a really good nap. And it just got quieter and quieter and quieter. And then I could still hear my own thoughts, but nothing else. And I thought, this is a great nap. It's the best thing that's ever happened. And then this woman was kind of just slapping me on the hand, yelling at me. And I came back, and I remember the beep on the machine. And I thought, she really interrupted my nap. I'm kind of pissed off right now. They continued my surgery without anesthesia, and it was probably the worst day of my life. Ooh. So after that, I continued on with my biopsy, and they had to take 6 pieces of my kidney without anesthesia. And I remember everything, and it hurt a lot. But I remember there was a time before that where I had the same situation happen. And I do remember at the end of a hallway, there was like a bluish light, and I had 3 family members, and I didn't see their faces, but I could see the outline of each of them. And I didn't meet any of them, but I knew who they were. And they talked about me, and they wanted me to come. 2 of them wanted me to come with them. One of them said, absolutely not.
Were these beings? What when you're basically dead, yeah? These are beings coming to you.
I went to them, and I went down a long hallway kind of thing. And I remember hands kind of reaching out of this tunnel type thing. And there was a blue light at the end of this tunnel, but they were standing at the end of the tunnel, and I could see the shapes of them. So I knew who each of them were, but they also mentioned their names to each other.
But you remembered them, but you can't remember them at the same time. Like, you knew who they were, but didn't know who they were at the same time.
I never met them, but I knew who they were.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say
backwards.
Yeah, I would say that those are beings that you've known forever. It's that familiarity, but it's like, because your memories don't fully enter back into you, it's like you can't. It's like, wait a second, I know you. You're familiar. It's because souls like that and near-death experiences are because they're souls that have been with you through very, very long time.
2 of them were still alive when I was born, but for a very short time. One of them passed away when my mom was 9, so I never met him. It's my grandfather. It was my grandfather. It's her father. But never met them. and they were arguing over whether I should stay or whether I should go. And then I kind of got sucked back out of it. I could feel it. I was like, that kind of thing. And my heart was pounding, sweating. I was really sick at the time. And those were the 2 times that I had actually passed away. And then I had very near-death experiences that I should have not made it through. So I had similar experiences as you, and it's very strange because every time it gets closer and closer and closer and closer, and my abilities become stronger.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't fear it at all. I mean, I tell you what, out of all this stuff, one thing for sure, an absolute fact is that I don't fear death.
Oh, I don't fear it at all. Not even a little bit. As a matter of fact, the last time when it felt like a black velvet curtain dropped over me and it was like everyone was running around, I just thought, just let me go, because this is the best nap ever. It's like the quietest I've ever been. I haven't slept in a really, really long time for any significant amount of time, and I just really need some sleep. Just let me go.
Yeah. No, a lot of people are going to be greeting you when you do fully, pass over all those things, cross over. Like, a lot of souls are waiting to reconnect with you fully and completely.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's kind of welcome almost. And it's been a long time since I felt well. So it's just, it's needed. It's wanted. And I tell Bevan that a lot. And a lot of people tell me don't think that way, but it's,
well, that's because I mean, that's because people don't really understand or have experience. I mean, for me, like I've told, I've actually told my dad. I said, hey, Dad, if I die in my sleep one day, just know it's because I had an out of body experience and some being showed me, and I chose to cross over to the point of no return. I said, don't feel fucking sad. I'm over there partying.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has told me that.
People are like, I'm afraid to die. And I'm like, not me. I'm good.
They think it's a finale, but it's not.
Mm-mm.
It's not a finale.
I've done everything I've ever wanted to do in my entire life. I'm good. I'm ready.
That's where that fear comes in. It feels like it's a finale, but it's not.
No, it's amazing when you're like, just based off what I've experienced and not going to the point of no return. Like I said before, it's like, because I'm not game enough to do that just yet, because I have a strong feeling. My first instinct is like, yep, that's going to kill the body that's in the bed if I do that. But there definitely is a point of no return. But based off what I have experienced, the things that I did get access to so far, it's there's nothing to be sad about when people pass away based off where they're going. It's amazing over there.
Mm-hmm. It felt really good. It felt like just a summertime nap with the air blowing through, and that was it. I wouldn't be afraid, Katie, not at all. That's just a good feeling. It's a good feeling. So anybody have anything else to say before we go? You guys should come back. We should talk more.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
Actually, I don't know. Is there anything else that anybody else wants to say?
I don't know. Do you want to bring your face back?
I turned the camera off because my wife wants to. She just got out of the shower, so nobody wants to see it. No.
Well, I mean, maybe some people would want to see that, but I mean, I don't think Deanna wants to have anybody see that.
That would boost our ratings. That would have boosted our ratings.
It would really.
Deanna, get back here.
Yeah. I turned the camera. I'm gonna have to turn it off so she can go get her stuff.
Katie's been sticking around, and she's been saying she's leaving for like the last hour.
Hold on.
So anybody, if you don't know, Darius has joined us from Australia. So he's been. Darius, what time is it? Daytime now?
Yeah. It's going around 2 p.m. Friday.
Oh, okay. So we're getting ready for bed, and you're just getting started, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. We've appreciated this so much. It's only taken me,
Yeah.
6 years to meet you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been over here for a long time, so
Yeah.
yeah.
You've been there almost a decade now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost been a decade.
So I think Bobby's going to get
How
started
is it
with
down
his
under
show.
over there? How is it
Say
down
again?
under?
How is it down
How is it
under?
down under?
Yeah, I mean, it's been good for me. So
It's under.
Hey,
yeah.
listen,
Yeah, he tried
there's
to
always
get me
a
to come
security.
out there. He's like,
What do you do paranormal?
this was like
When you flush a toilet bowl, does it go the opposite way?
Does it go the opposite? What does what go up the opposite?
Yeah.
No, it
because
actually
you know
doesn't.
the Kuwait, it just
The
it
toilets?
doesn't? That,
No, I
Kuwait
haven't.
over there is supposed to go opposite.
Yeah, hold on. Let me ask. Give me a sec.
Lisa, which way does the toilet flush?
Go this way or this way?
he's actually asking. I can't believe he's really asking. He's asking his wife. I can't believe it.
No, because I haven't noticed it turning the other way. After all this time, I have not noticed it turning the other
Well,
way.
you've been gone for so long, you probably don't even realize.
Well,
That's why nobody
that
asked you
too.
that
So it's
question too.
like, no, I haven't noticed it, to be honest. But,
That's funny.
Is there any way people get in touch with you to talk to you about this stuff? You
Yeah,
write a
what's your
book or
shameless
anything,
plug, Darius? Give it to us.
Yeah.
it's just my site. That's DariusJWright.com. That's it.
Bevan?
What?
Okay.
What? What?
How can they get in touch
I
with
was
you?
watching
They
my
wanna
wife
talk
get
to you about
dressed. Okay,
What is you're watching your wife get out of the shower?
get dressed. I got kind of distracted. My site is bevankwright.com.
So DariusJWright.com and BevanKWright.com.
Yeah,
And Darius,
I'm
you
on. Go ahead.
have a YouTube, right?
Yeah, that's just Darius J. Wright. Like everything that you're gonna find, that's like YouTube, all the I'm not on all the platforms, but any platform that I'm on, it's just DariusJWright.com. But it's a site is where I update all that stuff, because it's some of the stuff I talk about, depending on where it goes, sometimes it could get censored, and so I don't really rely on one particular one, if that makes sense. Just the website.
So they could get you on YouTube. That's pretty much
Yeah,
easiest for a lot of us
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get.
Yeah.
On
So
YouTube, then
I put it up in the chat there.
yeah. So
And you
it's
guys, we're going to do something about connecting the dots.
Yes, Darius and I are starting a podcast, and we're going to have it segmented about connecting the dots. It's going to cover a lot of actual factual scientific aspects, history, and all the way up to current events. And we actually recorded a lot of this already on in our interactions with each other. We've been recording these things. And then Darius is like, Dad, you just want to just start a podcast and we could just, we already have this stuff recorded. We can really start putting this out there and just go from A right to Z with everything. I said, yeah, let's do it. And we're going to start that podcast called Connecting the Dots.
it's awesome. I
Very
gotta
cool.
check that out. Check it out when you put it. I like to check it out. When you finally
Yeah.
get it on the air.
Yeah, we're going to start that very shortly.
If you need any
Well, you
guests,
guys-
you got two right here.
Yeah.
You got two
You
right
guys are
here.
always welcome on our show anytime. We'd love to continue this. And if you have any extra thoughts, let us know and we'll continue.
no
That's
idea.
great.
Okay.
So this
Thank you
is
for coming, both of you.
Dimensions. What did you say, Anthony?
Now, just thanking them. I mean, it was very interesting conversations. I think everybody liked it. So, definitely gonna check out.
Were there any
the
other questions
site.
there, Maureen? We don't see them on our side.
I don't think so. I think I tried to keep up with them as best as I could, but apparently Venus is going to hunt you down.
Venus, who's Venus?
Venus is one of our regular watchers. Katie is probably going to connect with you guys. Katie Holte, she and her husband make spirit boxes. But I did put out your websites, and
I know. I think Ron put it out. So also.
Yeah, we'll put them up with your on Facebook and the other sites, so we can give you guys some press here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everything will be found there on the site. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. We love you guys. And are you guys on Facebook? I know Bevan, you are, but not under that.
No, I'm actually thinking about closing my Facebook account. I don't even use it.
You say that all the time. You're never going to
use it. I just, like, even my wife asked me yesterday, she goes, I put something up on your, because I have my Facebook set up for preview before I can, allow somebody to post, because I had some people post certain things on my Facebook page. I was like, oh, that's not me. And I had to, so I get it for preview. She goes, I put something on your Facebook. Didn't you put it approve yet? I'm like, honey, I'm not on Facebook. Just don't go on there.
I really don't use my Facebook except for business stuff. That's it. I really hate social media.
And Darius deleted his Facebook because he doesn't.
Good choice, Darius.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the choices that I made a while ago. It's like I just decided to delete all social media and just stick to, if people want to find my work, go to the website, because otherwise I find that the social media tends to suck you into a place of not actually you doing
negativity.
Your work.
Mm-hmm.
Turns into other people pulling your strings, and I don't like people pulling my strings.
I agree.
Yeah.
This was a great show, though. Thank you so much for being here. Who said this was a short show? It was 7:30 to 9:30. It's 10 to 10. It seems short, maybe.
When things get interesting,
it seems short. Yeah.
It seems short. It goes by fast.
Bevan shows up to my house, and we're here for like 16 hours talking about everything. So maybe we should start like videoing our private conversations that are all about this.
You want to know something? Some of the best conversations come out of those impromptu conversations.
You coming to use the bathroom and get a water.
It just happens that it just comes out of nowhere. Because like that's how Darius and our best recordings came from non-planned conversation.
We're just talking, because it's like when it's like a set thing, it's like, because certain things only happen in that particular moment. So
yeah, absolutely.
They're the best ones, and I'm like, because sometimes I'll just channel things in, and they're coming in at the time. Like you've heard it with me and you. Sometimes something will be channeling through me. I'm like, I'm hearing this for the first time as I'm saying it.
Yeah. We end up with like 3-hour shows here, just like Bobby said, and here on Mixler, we end up keep going. Anthony, how many times have we?
There's a show after us now.
So 10 o'clock. There's a 10 o'clock. We end up going for a long time.
Wow.
So this was a great.
We don't
want
to interrupt the 10 o'clock show, so I want to say good night to everybody.
Good night, everyone. This was Dimensions of the Supernatural. I typed it in wrong for myself, but I'll fix that next.
Hey, remember, everybody, forget about it.
Forget about it.
See you